From Transat, Susie Deveault. First, some supporters to thank, and thank you for listening. This episode is supported by CCW Digital, leaders responsible for operations, information technology, contact centers, customer care, service, and support are invited to register for a free CCW Digital membership. Membership includes networking with 100,000 plus qualified industry professionals, quarterly executive research reports, product matchmaking, and more. Go to ccwdigital.com to join the community. This episode is also supported by the CCW Conference and Expo. The event will empower you to test, learn, and try the next big thing in customer experience optimization. Are you interested in mining data across touch points for personalized and predictive data? Are you trying to integrate your systems to get a more complete view of the customer? Are you figuring out what innovations to invest in? Chatbots, virtual assistants, AI, VR, biometrics, to name a few? Go to callcenterweek.com to register. Susie Deveault joins us from the Chief Customer Officer Exchange, where she focuses on every aspect of the customer experience and every deliverable of the product. She discusses how and why people travel. She understands that to travel with your family is quite an imposition on the budget, and she doesn't have tangible inventory, understanding that when you get down to it, she's selling a dream, time with your family, memories. So Susie's job is to ensure that that dream is precious. On how she works, Susie's father was a fireman and taught her that you have to be able to work with a team, and that teamwork could literally be a matter of life and death. Welcome to CCW Digital on B2B IQ. I'm your host, Seth Adler. Download episodes on ccwdigital.com or through our app in iTunes, within the iTunes podcast app, in Google Play, or wherever you currently get your podcasts. From Transat, Susie Deveault.
So because I'm American, I don't know what your company is, right? So we have to explain the company right up front. So where are you, what are you doing, and how do you operate?
So Transat is a Montreal-based company. It's totally Canadian, and it's actually, the office is in Quebec and Montreal, so we're very proud of that. Mostly French. So what we do is that we sell travel. So we sell mainly packages to Canadian customers and to European passengers as well. During the wintertime, we sell packages to the Caribbean. I would say 80% of our business is packages during the wintertime. During the summertime, we sell flights, direct flights to Europe.
Yes.
To Canadian passengers going to Europe, and the opposite as well, to a European passenger coming to Canada.
The most fascinating thing that I heard you say, though, is that you're not operating through other airlines.
No, it's 100% with our airline company, which is called Air Transat.
Amazing. This is not an easy thing to do, operate an airline.
No, it's not. It's
right?
not, with very, very thin margins and very hard to get customers.
Yes.
There is a lot of competition, and this is our main, it is our main concern right now, with a lot of offer, a lot of capacity on the market. And I mean, people are traveling, but still it's not their number one expense. They still need to eat, to get a roof,
right.
and then if they have a bit of money, then they'll decide to travel.
Right.
So we have to make sure that we become so important that it becomes one of their priority as far as their budget decision is concerned.
So what is the value proposition? What do you say to your customers? Be they potential customers or current customers.
Of course. Well, yeah. For current customers, hopefully they know us, so they choose us over competition for our culture and for the company itself. For the new customers, these are harder to get because when you get to travel with your family, it's quite an imposing budget to spend when you don't know exactly what you're going to get. We don't have tangible inventory. What we sell a dream. We sell some time with your family. We sell memories, but it's not a tangible thing that we sell.
Right.
So we have to make sure that dream is precious enough and so special that they decide to go. Once we have them, then it's easier to capture their needs, and then we send them offers based on their profile, on their budget, or their interest. But the new customer is harder to get, I find.
Absolutely. Now, if I'm Canadian or European, though, like you said, there's so much competition. What's the the kind of the differentiator for you guys? How are you relating what you just told me to them, so they understand that they really, to choose us is something special, maybe,
Yes.
right?
Well, we have collections with our product offer, specific collections that the people can identify a set of hotels or a set of destinations that might be suitable for them. As an example, we have a solo collection. So if you're traveling by yourself, then within this choice of hotels, it's exactly what I need. We have a family collection. We have a deluxe collection. So that helps people to know exactly, what to choose within our offer, within our portfolio. That's one way to be special. Of course, the service on board for us, the airline itself is a product that's very important because people get to spend many hours on board our flights, so the service is really special. At destination, the hotel, our partner's hotel as well, needs to have perfect service because passengers spend a week, 2 weeks, maybe more to that property. So that partnership with us and the hotel is really important for the passenger.
All right, so we build these custom experiences. Now I'm going onto the website. I can see, okay, wait a second. This is something different. I like it. Okay, fine. When you're dealing with the hotel partners, we're going to be actually, kind of specific with who we partner with. We want to make sure that the customer service is up to par or better, right? Hopefully. Yep. Now, this plane. Tell me about this plane. How does it compare to, any other carrier that I might know? What are some differentiators on board?
Yeah. Well, we try to survey our customer when they're on board. The good thing about it is they don't have a lot of things to do. They're captured within our plane.
Tell me about it.
So we tend to like to survey our customers when they're on board, and based on that, we try to add a little added value. Because to be very honest, from one airline company to the other, we're basically about the same. Where our responsibility is to take you from point A to point B.
That's it.
And on top of it, if it can be an extraordinary experience, it's a bonus. Because really, for number one priority of the passenger is security.
Yes.
So once I've taken you in a secure way from point A to point B, I pretty much fulfilled my contract part.
Yeah,
now,
I did my job. That's it.
Now, above that, what will make a difference that you choose me above the other is going to be all of the little added value that we either charge, because most of us now charge for that added value, or that we offer. But even if we charge, if it's available, people appreciate that. So a comfort kit, we call it, if you have a more interesting seat with some perks with that buying of a seat. Like for us, as an example, we sell Option Plus. So it gets you to select your seat. It's a more interesting seat. Then I give you a glass of sparkling wine. I give you a bit of more attention. You have the special snacks. Those are little things that people are looking for. And most of the time, they're willing to pay. It doesn't have to be free.
Right.
As long as you provide it, it's available, and I'm happy with it, it'll work.
Might there be free things that you're offering that maybe the other airlines aren't? Or not necessarily?
Well, for Canada, to be totally bilingual on every flight for Canadian passenger is really important.
Right.
We try to do that.
Has to be the case, right?
It has to be the case, and it's not that easy because you do have some staff that are based in Vancouver, Calgary, or all of English Canada. That can be sometimes, layover in Montreal, and if you have a Montreal flight, most of them are French, and to have a fully English staff is not acceptable. And the opposite can be severe as well. So if I have a French passenger in Vancouver with a totally English staff on board, can be something that irritates people as well. So the language issue, I think, it is something special. I would say, especially for the French Canadian, because we're out of Quebec, it kind of makes sense. So that would make us a bit special because we're based in Quebec.
Let's take this tangent. As far as Quebecois are concerned, what does the rest of the world not understand?
Your accent is good.
It's better with that, but we just did to be, and I won't even repeat it. I remember it from French class.
It's recorded. You should repeat it.
Yeah, right, être. And then you say you didn't even understand what I was saying, literally.
I thought you were talking Greek.
Yeah, so I said être. What did you say?
Être.
Yeah, exactly. This is two different words. So what don't the rest of the world maybe understand about the community that is Quebecois, right? It's a special thing.
Well, I hope it is.
right? But what would you say, right?
I hope it is. I think our proximity is something special. I think we and we like to greet people when people come to Quebec.
Yeah.
I've rarely heard someone say, "I just hated it. This was a terrible place to go." Because, and most of the time, what I hear is about the people. They like to come. Of course, Montreal is a beautiful city, but the people I met were amazing. So for some reason, we're people that are friendly, that we like to speak. We like to exchange with people. We'll invite you over for dinner or for lunch or easily. I think we're a very open community and a very open population.
And what about the habitants?
Les habitants, that's good. You see, I understood what you said.
I'm trying harder now,
Les
right?
habitants.
Yeah.
Les habitants, those are the people who have farms. This is what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the Canadians, the hockey team.
Oh, okay. They're called the Canadians, yeah.
Well, yes, but they have the H in the middle.
Yeah.
Right? Because you call them the Habs, the
Habs.
habitants.
Yes, the
And now
Habs.
this is after you're telling me something I don't know. There's who are these farmers?
Habitants for farmers.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
So, but I don't have the history why the Montreal Canadiens have the habitants
Right.
on their sweaters or on their jersey. That I
would-
don't have. I'll have to check.
I would imagine it's because of these farmers, maybe. Maybe not.
Okay, but I don't remember any farmer hockey player though. I don't.
No, there's got to be one.
There's got to be. We have to check. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to be from there, right? I mean.
Yes, I was born in Montreal.
Uh-huh.
I'm a real Quebecois, as you're saying.
Yes.
Yes.
And then how different is it now from when you grew up? Right? Or has it remained the same?
Oh, no. I would say definitely the diversity. Especially in Montreal, it's not the same. It's the same in Toronto, though. I would say Toronto and Montreal, those big two cities, the diversity of the people has grown like tremendously. Like 20 years ago, we didn't see Syrians or Moroccans now this richness of people when you walk in the street, or when I take the subway as an example, I commute often by subway to go to work, and to be very honest, sometimes I just look around and I'm the only Quebecois in that train. You see this variety of culture all around you, which is very, very precious to me.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting.
Sounds like New York City to me, right? I'm
Yeah,
from New York,
yeah,
so
but
that's
in a more civilized way.
Of course, exactly. We can get into that in a minute, right? The difference between Montreal and New York. All right, so you grow up there, and did you grow up in the city, in the urban center, or
No, in the
right
suburbs,
outside?
about
Okay.
25 minutes from the city.
And what were
but
your
now
folks?
I live in the city.
Okay, what were your folks doing when you were a kid?
My dad was a fireman, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
Because I'm old, so in my days, the moms were staying at home.
That still happened, type of thing, right? You're not that. I would imagine we're about the same age. Your father was a paid fireman.
Yep. A paid fireman?
In other words, this was his
work.
job.
Yes.
Yeah, because we have volunteer firemen.
Oh no! He was he was hired by the city of Montreal, so he was a paid fireman. Yes.
What would his lesson be to you as a fireman? How what was his message as far as?
Oh, that's really interesting as a question. For sure, teamwork. I got that from him.
Yeah.
When you work in a firehouse, how you call it?
Sure,
A firehouse.
Yeah.
And when you go on a fire, you have to be strong as a team. Because if not, you could die. And you really have to save people. Your job is actually to save people's life.
So you literally have to depend on those people.
But you can't do it alone. You have to be strong as a team. And often I remember I used to listen to him, and that's how I realized how you can achieve or you can accomplish anything if you have the right team.
Huh? Look at that. And by
interesting.
definition. We can literally save lives if we've got the right team.
I wish I would save lives.
Right. Fire maison, I think is what. Right?
Fire maison.
Right, yeah.
You know a lot of words in French.
I'm telling you, I took French. My French teacher, me speaking French, it was like nails on a chalkboard how terrible my accent was. I just couldn't get it
It's
for
just
some reason.
because you need practice. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. All right. So this is your fireman father, your mother, who's a stay-at-home mom. I mean, you have to be a good person, right? What was her kind of ethos? What was her message to you? What were the mores that came from her? Be polite. Be a nice person.
I guess the standard thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've learned a lot from her. But yeah, because my mom was my best friend. But I guess the whole base of my life I learned from my mom. You know, from my dad, you automatically asked me the question, and this one
Teamwork.
thing coming
Right.
up. My mom, I have
Everything else.
Everything else, I
Right.
think. You know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Look
I
at
don't want to
that.
be too severe for my dad there, but I mean.
Well, no, I think he'll be fine. I think if you just kind of mentioned him in a positive way, he'll probably be happy, right? Do you have any siblings?
I have a brother. Yeah.
Uh-huh. All right, so you're the baby princess. I mean, come on. He's
I'm the
thrilled.
oldest.
But still you're the baby princess. He's thrilled with you. Don't worry about it, I think. All right, so where did you go to school?
I went to school in.
McGill.
No. I went to school. Well, my city was Repentigny. That's a good word for you to practice
Never.
in French.
I'm not going to be able to say it.
Repentigny.
Continue.
So yeah, until 18 years old, I stayed in the suburbs in Repentigny, and then I went to. It's a really long word in French to say, but I went to tourism school.
Okay.
In
Let's
Montreal.
try it. Why not? We're doing it anyway.
It's Institut de Tourisme de Montréal.
Okay. All right. The Tourist Institute
Institut
of
de
Tourism
Tourisme et
Institute of
d'Hôtellerie
Montreal.
à Montréal.
Uh-huh.
And then I went to a commerce school, so les hautes études commerciales.
This
So I
one's
went
longer.
there.
All right.
Hautes études commerciales.
Uh-huh.
And that's it. And I went to McGill as well. I did a mini MBA to McGill.
Aha.
Yeah.
All right.
English
there we go.
school,
You
yeah.
had to, right? I have a friend whose father went there.
To McGill?
Yeah, an
Oh, yeah?
American. Yeah.
It's a very well-known university.
It's great, right?
Yeah, it is great.
All right, so you get all this. When did you realize you were going to be in tourism? When did you realize that you were going to be in hospitality?
When I was really bad in mathematics. So I looked around and I said, okay, where should I work where you don't need mathematics? And
Right.
tourism came up. So
Yeah.
that's how.
I'm going to be
And
nice to people for a living, right?
And it's true. That's how I chose my. But I'm still there after 35 years, and I'm
Right.
still very happy. And just to say that sometimes decisions are not emotional at all. They're pretty rational, and it works.
Absolutely. All right, so let's hit some key stops. What was your, of course, besides your current position, what has been your favorite position?
I managed at one point within Transat because I've been working with Transat for almost 30 years now.
Oh my God! Oh
So now
wow!
you know,
Look
so
at
now
this.
you know how old I am.
Yeah. You started when you were 10.
I was, yeah, sure, thanks. I was a general manager for a small unit within Transat. At some point, we tried to sell other destinations that where Air Transat went. So we actually contracted with other airline companies, and we tried to sell long haul, we call it. So we tried to sell Asia, South America, Africa, destinations that we never offered before. So there was this little unit that was called Transat Discoveries, and it was mainly coach tours product that we sold. And I was the general manager for 3 years
Of that.
of that.
It sounds like that you're saying, I think you're referring to it in the past tense.
In the past tense, yes. That
Not
was-
only as a position, but also as an offering, right? Or do you
Exactly.
still offer it?
No, we don't. We don't offer anymore. So we focus back on the destinations that are offered with Air Transat, with our own airline company. So we've abandoned that line of business
No, besides the obvious, how come?
because there was. The market share are too small for. It was basically sold in French Canada, so basically in Quebec, a bit out of Ontario, a bit out of English Canada, but the market share is really hard to get,
Got
and so we've abandoned this line of product and as well other line of products to try to refocus on what we do best and what we know best is destinations with our Transat.
All right, so destinations with the Transat brings a certain kind of customer from Europe, from Canada, mostly. Tell us about that customer. Who is the Transat customer?
It's interesting that you asked that because we actually, as big as a company that we are, we're just going to learn very soon who are our customers because we're just deploying our CRM end of May, actually.
Sure.
So we kind of have a segmentation of our customer. We have a few personas in place, but in detail, we will know more about our customer in the next months or so because we'll capture a lot more information on our customer.
And maybe we can talk again, but I wonder, what is your, if, you've got the segmentation, what do you already know? You know, what are you
Yep.
confident
Yep.
about?
Well, we know that we have a market for couples that are older, that are in between 40 and 50. We have this kind of segmentation of market. We have as well younger passengers that are flying solo or flying flight only to Europe, that are more in the area of 20, 30. I don't remember the average budget though, but we do have all this information. But those are the ones that I remember. And we have families. We have an interesting segmentation of families as well.
Interesting. All right, and it sounds like it's broken down pretty evenly, right?
It is pretty even. Yeah, there's nothing that pops up like that obvious. No.
And what's the difference, the key differences between the Canadian customer and the European customer besides, of course, their origin?
I don't think we have a segmentation for European customers.
Oh, so it's less. So it's mostly Canadian
what I was
customers.
talking about was for Canadian customers.
Interesting. And the difference between English-speaking and French-speaking?
I don't remember that there is.
The French-speaking are better, I think.
Well, they're nicer.
But I have friends from Montreal.
You
and
do?
It's Montreal is really, it's the best is what it is. Right? Kind of thing?
Well, yeah, I have to say, but I mean, I have friends in Toronto as well, and I love Vancouver as a city. As far as Canadian cities, it's a fabulous city.
So, you know, to go over to Vancouver for a moment, that is one of the most beautiful places on earth.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
For sure. I agree.
That Pacific Northwest, that whole thing, if you go, you know, all the way down to Portland even, you know, in the Bay Area in California is not too bad. But, you know, all the way up to Seattle through Vancouver and then Alaska.
It is amazing.
It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. There's only the weather missing. If it would be nicer,
it's a
sunnier.
little cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so much sun. I agree with you completely. All right, so you've been there for 30 years. That's amazing.
In September, yeah, it'll be 30 years.
Well, happy anniversary almost.
Thank you.
Besides that general manager position, what are the kind of the iterations that you've been through to get where you are as far as your position?
Yeah, well, one
in
interesting
customer?
thing about being within a company for 30 years is that you do different things, you know. So I started as a sales rep on the road and looking at the travel agency. So my customer were the travel agents. So I did that for a few years, and then I came into the call centers. I would say I spent around 15 years of my professional life at Transat within the call centers. So I did, of course, supervisor and director, national director, vice president, and so I've had a nice evolution within the call center. And in the last year, I'm more a customer experience / satisfaction.
Right.
So I take care as well of all of the call center, but the customer, the after sales as well.
Got it. In the call center, right? When you were in that kind of more, you know, hands-on there, I would imagine that you would hop on the phone every once in a while.
Of course.
What was the most common kind of misconception, either from the rep's perspective or the customer's perspective? Where was there friction?
In the conversation you're talking about?
Yeah.
Our B2B customer, when they call in, of course, they tend to know a bit more about the industry. So it is a type of customer that's harder to serve, or harder to please, I should say.
Right.
And of course, within the call center, most of them are pretty young. They don't have that much experience. So often a travel agent would be a travel agent for 15, 16 years.
Right.
And then when they call in, they always expect that everybody is, you know, has more experience than them, which is not the case. And sometimes they get a bit condescending about that situation.
Sure.
So it's a harder call.
Sure.
Versus the B2C, the end traveler are very interested about everything we have to say, because, you know, they're buying the trip themselves. They don't travel as much, and it's an interesting subject to talk about, the travel. So it's an easier customer to serve.
How much did you love or not love being on the phone with customers? Because it's a difficult I mean, you know, those front lines, that's not easy.
Oh, they're stars. They're geniuses. It takes so much. If you haven't done it once in your life, you don't know how hard it is. It is a really hard job. I think the hardest part is just a repetition, you know, because it's interesting to converse with someone, but when you do it all day, you know, after a week or 2 weeks and after 3 years, you know, people get tired because it's on an ongoing conversation all the time,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it takes concentration all the time. And most of them are very process-oriented people. They have to live the changes, so many changes every day, every minute, every week. They're very special type of person, and that's why it's most of them don't stay very long
Right.
within the call center. Very rarely you'll see someone who's been 5, 6, 7 years in a call center because they're just ready to do something else. You're right. It's a tough job.
Yeah. So here's to them. How about that?
Here's to them for sure.
All right. I'm going to ask you the 3 final questions. I'll tell you what they are, and then I'll ask you
Because you
them in
make
order.
me miss my.
No, I'm going to be right on time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're checking out.
Look
huh?
at
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
First is what has most surprised you at work. Second is what has most surprised you in life. And then on the soundtrack of your life, one track, one song that's got to be on there. So, first things first.
Yeah.
What has most surprised you at work?
I have to go back again to team.
Teamwork.
Well, teamwork, but
lesson.
team accomplishment.
How do you mean?
You know, I've had this opportunity to work on projects
Mm-hmm.
with amazing people around the table, and if you have the right people around the table, you can absolutely do anything. You know, you could sell anything, you can accomplish anything. The strength of a team. It's my answer.
You can even put out a fire
Yep.
with the right team.
Yep.
Right. What's most surprised you in life?
In life,
Mm-hmm.
my children,
These people, right?
these people, the most special people in my life, and they
Now, you
surprise
said
me.
that your mother was your best friend.
Yep.
Right? And so do you have a similar relationship
I
with
sure
your
hope
kids?
so.
Right.
I sure hope so.
You're trying,
We
right?
have to ask them, but I sure hope so. Yeah.
How old are they?
16 and 14,
Okay.
right in the teens.
Yeah, that's I don't want to ask them.
And not
What do you think?
struggling. Yeah, I think you can ask. I'm
they
comfortable.
Are fair enough.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll ask them in English, and they,
Yeah,
they can
yeah.
talk about me behind my back in French. All right, Susie, on the soundtrack of your life, one track, one song that's got to be on there.
Oh yeah, that I don't like.
All right. Now
One song.
I have a song for you that I wonder if you know.
Which one?
And again with the pronunciation, but
It's in French.
Le pain pour moi.
La peine pour moi.
Yeah, le pain pour moi.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
but it's not la peine pour moi. What
No,
is
no.
it? No, no.
It's something like that. Say pen.
This guy is weird. On top of it, the one who sings it, he's weird. Ça plane pour moi. But it has to be a song from Edith Piaf. You know Edith Piaf?
Oh, of course.
Bon. So Edith Piaf, and
Oh.
the song is okay. I don't remember the title. It doesn't go well. La Mélodie du Bonheur, is it?
I
Is it
don't
La
know.
Mélodie du Bonheur?
There's another one in the
Le ciel
movie
bleu
Inception,
sur nos
which is
petits
just
cendres.
yeah. Oh,
This song.
that
It's the nicest love song that I've ever heard.
What-
And there's a lot of love songs, right?
Hold on one
So
second.
we'll find it, but
Yeah.
that's the one that I choose. La vie en rose.
Ah, Edith Piaf. Okay. For me, Edith Piaf.
Yeah, Edith Piaf,
Non.
La vie en rose.
Non, je ne regrette.
Rien.
Yes. Oh.
That's that one.
Oh.
That's my song I choose.
Wait, you're choosing my song that I said, or you're choosing
no,
your
that's
song?
my song
It's
that
the
I
same
choose.
song.
No, but you chose La Ça plane pour moi.
Oh,
I
yes.
don't like that song.
You don't like that song?
This one. That's the song I choose.
Susie?
Thank you. That was a nice experience. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do a pod.
Cast.
A cast, a podcast. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it
thanks.
was absolutely a pleasure from this side, too.
Thank you.
And there you have Susie Deveault. An absolute pleasure speaking with her, having some fun there at the end with French language music. Also, I looked up the Montreal Canadiens thing. Habitant is certainly a nickname for the team now, but it's from a misperception originally from the one of the owners of Madison Square Garden way back when. Anyway, thanks to Susie for her time. Thanks to you for your time, and stay tuned.